Hey Kid Life, it's Miss Miranda and Mr. Sam here.
Hey guys.
We want y'all to know we miss y'all, we love y'all, and we can't wait till we see y'all again. And this week's bottom line is you can help others know Jesus.
Yeah, and that's good. Sometimes we should probably pause and kind of look around at all that is God's doing. Because if you notice in nature, friendships, even Bible stories, everything that God does is good. Sometimes it's hard for us to see that with our own eyes, but when we take the time to focus and look into it, we can tell that the nature of God is to be good. And when you can tell that somebody is good, it's a lot easier to trust them. And no matter what's going on, you know that you can trust God because He shows you how good He is. Don't you want everyone else to be able to know that? Isn't it good for you to know that you can help others to know Jesus?
And Miss Brenda is going to teach us more about that in today's Bible story. And remember, this week's bottom line is you can help others know Jesus. Thank y'all, and we love y'all.
Hey Kid Life, let's keep traveling through God's big story, continuing with the story of Apostle Paul. Now we know that Paul was not always a Jesus follower, but when he put his faith in Jesus, he wanted to spread the good news to everyone. Paul was always on the move. He would go from place to place to place sharing the good news. And there was a place where there were Jews and Greeks that would listen and believe in Jesus. But also in those places, there would be a group of people called the religious leaders that would always try to stop Paul. They were not a big fan of him. And they even forced Paul and his companions out of a place called Thessalonica, and they even followed him to another town named Berea, where they ran him out too. But in this town of Berea, there were some Jesus followers that helped him get out. He was able to hop on a boat to travel to Athens. But before he did this, he left some instructions with some of his friends, Silas and Timothy, to join him as soon as possible. So Paul is traveling to Athens, and he gets there, and he sees that the people of Athens, they believed in a lot of false gods. He walked the streets of Athens, and there were statues everywhere that showed different things. There may be a statue for wealth, which is money. There may be a statue for strength, another statue for weather, and all of these statues represented these different false gods. And this made Paul so upset. He was so mad because he wanted them to know about the one true God. So he goes to the Jewish synagogues and he starts talking to the Jews and the Greeks about Jesus, and he even goes to the marketplace and he tells people around him who Jesus is. But there were also some people in Athens that were hearing things that Paul was saying, and it was just stirring some people up. There were some smart thinkers in Athens, and they had some questions. They were interested to see who Paul was talking about, because they had all their gods, and they had not heard about this God before. So they had all these questions, and so they asked Paul, and they say, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting? For you bring some strange things to our ears. We wish to know what these things mean." And so it was awesome that they had these questions to ask. They didn't know what he was talking about, and they wanted to understand. And so Paul wanted to connect the story of Jesus with what they already knew. And so he remembered walking by a statue that had the words written, "To an unknown God." Now he knew that they would probably listen more to what their writers had to say and the things that they knew. And so, but he did tell them, he said, "Men of Athens, I see that in every way you are very religious. For as I passed along and observed the objects of your worship, I found also an altar with the writing, 'To the unknown God.' So you do not know what you worship, but I will tell you of this unknown God. The God who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples made by man, nor is he served by human hands as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all mankind life and breath and everything. So he knew he had to tell the story so that they could understand. Like I was saying, he thought his best plan was to talk about their writers because they knew what their writers had said. And some of their writers in Athens had written that we are all his children. And so there's like, yes, we are all God's children. And that shows God is real, God is true, and he wasn't this statue that these people were serving. And so we hear this, and Paul is speaking these things, and some of the people were like, Paul is crazy, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he must be telling us all these lies or telling us these jokes. But there were other people that were really interested in what he had to say and wanted to hear more. And so he kept talking in Athens to these people, and some people in Athens even eventually believed in Jesus. And some of them were this man named Dionysius and a woman named Damaris. So he kept doing his thing. He kept spreading God's love and sharing the good news to the people of Athens because he knew this one thing, and that's you can help others know Jesus. And now there are different ways that we can do that, and it's so easy. All you have to do is just be real, be honest of what God has done in your own life. Your words and what you say is so important, but also remembering that how you show other people who Jesus is not only in what you say, but also in what you do. Your actions matter. See, one of the reasons why God sent his son, Jesus, was to show us who he is. And he showed us through all the things that he did when he was on this earth. And we can show other people kindness, love, and through our actions, we are helping them know who Jesus is. Sometimes it may be doing things that we aren't asked to do to help someone else, like helping your parents with chores around the house, or even cheering up a friend that may be having a hard day. We know these things are so important because our actions are showing God's love to them. We also know that it's important to put others first. Now, this isn't normal. And when I say that, I say sometimes it could be hard to put others first. Sometimes we may feel like we don't want to, or sometimes it's just we don't know how to. But when we do that, when we treat them the way we want to be treated, we show them that example of who Jesus is, and we help others know who Jesus is.